Good morning, everyone. Hello from Berlin. Today is my last day in Berlin. I am back home to Rome tomorrow, and I'm actually quite looking forward to it. I've been traveling around Europe for 3 weeks, so to be home is going to be nice. So today I thought I would talk about something which actually came up in a conversation with one of my nailing execution clients the other day. So to give you some context, nailing execution is my 6-week program. I take my clients through my system of how to really gain clarity in your business, get real focus on what you need to do, and then execute. So it's essentially a strategy development and execution program. But that's just to give you some context on why she asked me this question. We were actually going through the assess side of the model, which is basically looking at your business and your environment and where everything fits in. And she said to me, what constitutes greatness in a business? What makes certain businesses great and so valuable? I'm so sorry, my left eye is driving me insane today. It's watering like crazy. And that's a very good question, because many businesses essentially have access to exactly the same assets and exactly the same resources. So what makes some great, and why do some achieve greatness? Well, many businesses talk about strategy as things like financial management, marketing, etc. That is not strategy. That is basic business operations. And that is really a license to actually play in the game. It's your ticket to entry, so to speak. So what constitutes greatness in a business is their core assets and what they do with them. And in essence, what that means is it's some sort of competitive advantage. And having that competitive advantage is your strategy. Now, let me give you the analogy of an apple tree. You start off with a core asset with an apple tree, which would essentially be the seed, right? And the quality of your tree and the quality of your apples is very much going to depend on that seed. And that seed is your core assets or your core competencies. The trunk of that tree then becomes the business that you build, how you manage your operations, how you do your marketing, all of those sorts of things. Those are things that you can actually control and be responsible for. And then you have the apples that eventually grow off the branches. Now, what you do with those apples and how you sell them is your business model. So you could on-sell them to somebody who could sell them to someone else. You could sell the apples directly to your customers. You could make apple jam or apple strudel or something out of it. So there's different models that you can use to actually sell your apples. But the health of the entire business depends on the quality of the seed. And the seed is very much your core assets and your competencies that are unique to you and that no one else has. So let me give you a practical example in business. Zappos, if you haven't heard of it, it's an amazing company started by a young American Chinese guy called Tony Hsieh. Tony wrote a book called, I forget what his book was called now. It'll come to mind, but have a look. It's about happiness. And Zappos essentially has the most amazing culture. It sells shoes online. I think these days it sells a few extra things, and it's now owned by Amazon. But when he essentially started the business, it did nothing more than sell shoes online. Now, anybody can sell shoes online. So why did Zappos become $1 billion business? Because of its culture. It has the most amazing culture, and it's become so successful that they've actually started a separate business on how to create a culture of really happy people. So that's what I mean in terms of core competitive advantage. I'll give you another example. So in the 70s or 80s, soft soap, which is your soft pumps action soap, came into play in the States. And it was developed by a guy, hi Vanessa, who wasn't from a very big pharmaceutical company, in fact. But he knew that if he didn't do something to protect his market, that he would be pushed out very quickly. So what he figured out at that stage is that the choke in the supply chain, or what potentially could be the choke for his competitors, was in fact the pump in the pump action at the top. So he got on a plane, flew to California, and he said to those suppliers, tell me how much a year's worth of these things are going to cost to make. And they told him, and he bought the whole lot. So effectively, he actually kept the competitors out of the market for an entire year. And that is his strategy, and that is why he became so successful. Because obviously when they actually got into the market, he had already cornered most of it. So strategy, guys, is not about your day-to-day operations. It's not about how you market and how you sell or how you run your business. It's about generating core competencies, strengths, and assets in your business that are so fantastic customers love them and that your competitors cannot copy. So I hope you've had a reasonable time listening to me. I hope you found some interest in there. Ciao, Margarita. As I said, I'll be back in Rome tomorrow. interesting to see what happens on Sunday. We've had a lot of stuff going around the internet about soccer. I'm so sorry to the English fans who lost, but there was a joke going around about how do you put a cork back in a champagne bottle? We'll ask the English. So really sorry you guys lost, but the Croatians fought well, and I think Sunday's match against France and Croatia is going to be an interesting one. I'm certainly not going to miss it. I hope you all have a great day. Mwah! And here's a Facebook poke for you.